And you're on.
All right, live from Woody's on Church Street. It's late night from Willowdale. We're doing a short video. So, Khalid was asking me sort of a couple of issues we need to talk about.
Who is Khashoggi?
Yeah, so Jamal Khashoggi is Saudi dissident who's a freelancer for the Washington Post, walks into the Saudi consulate in Istanbul and he disappears. And nobody knows what's going on.
He was murdered.
Most people think he was murdered because he was credited as the Mohammed bin Salman, the leader, Saudi's current leader, and the crown prince, I guess.
He has a lot of ideas about liberalism.
Yeah, he's gotten a lot of good press because he's a reformer, but basically he's a murderer and a thug. And if you can't criticize Mohammed bin Salman, and they call him MBS in Western circles. He's MBS. Thomas Friedman at the New York Times loves him, and he's like the guy's a thug and a murderer, and he doesn't tolerate criticism. So yeah, a Saudi dissident who's a freelancer for the Washington Post, who's a Saudi citizen, walks into the consulate in Istanbul and disappears, and nobody knows what's going on. And this is what happens. The Saudis are a vile, repugnant regime, and
a little bit better than Iran, right?
No, God no.
A little bit worse, sorry. A little bit worse,
a lot worse.
Yeah.
The Saudis get a pass on the world stage for some bizarre reason. You know, I've done videos about this, and I'm not going to, criticism of MBS, Mohammed bin Salman, is not tolerated. So anyone who criticizes him basically gets killed or disappears. And the Saudis are up to no good in Yemen. They're killing people in Yemen. They're slaughtering people in Yemen. It's genocide in Yemen, supported by American weaponry, supported by the United States and American weaponry. And it's terrible. And the Trump administration loves the Saudis. Who did Donald Trump go to after first country he visited was Saudi Arabia. So, I mean, they love the Americans and the Saudis are just so tied in. And yet, the hypocrisy here, which is stunning, is that Iran, which is a relatively democratic country, God, lots of human rights issues there, no question. Lots of human rights abuses. Iran is not perfect. They're meddlesome in the Middle East, but nothing compared to the Saudis. But Iran gets sanctioned. Iran gets treated like dirt. Iran is considered the great evil of the world, and yet the Iranians are rational. They're you look at Rouhani, you look at the interviews he gives, they're actually quite rational. The Iranians have adhered to the nuclear deal. The Iranians have adhered to it. They've complied with it, and yet they get treated like dirt by the Americans. And they're applying more sanctions on Iran, and it's not rational. It's just not rational. Why is Iran treated like crap when they're actually not producing nuclear weapons, adhering to these international agreements, and they get treated like crap?
Especially when it comes to Europe and blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. But,
So,
yeah.
And then Trump.
There's a unilateralism that comes across with it. Yeah.
And then Kim Jong-un and Trump are, having this love affair, and I don't see any nuclear disarmament in North Korea, but Iran has actually adhered to a deal, and because there's an irrational hatred of Iran in the United States, it's bizarre, and it goes back to 1979. To the hostage situation, to the Islamic Revolution, and it's just not rational. Iran is a relatively democratic place. They want to be part of the Western community. They want to trade with the West. They want to have, yet the Saudis get a pass. The Saudis are the biggest, probably the most despicable country in the world. The biggest,
blasphemy law and everything.
Yeah, blasphemy laws, human rights the Saudis.
Although Pakistan is worse.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anyways, I don't want to belabor this, but yeah, the Saudis are vicious, nasty people. What they're doing in Yemen is horrible, backed by the United States, and yeah, this symbolized by this Saudi dissident who goes into the Saudi consulate in Istanbul and disappears. So, because he's critical of the Saudi regime and Mohammed bin Salman. And I'm glad Canada and Saudi had this tension and stuff, because I'm saying Canada shouldn't even have relations with Saudi Arabia. I mean, why would you have relations with a country that decapitates people? I mean, it's probably one of the worst human rights abusers in the world. So I'm glad that the Saudis basically broke off relations with Canada. Like, I'm glad, just because we criticize their human rights record.
Well, there's a lot of Saudis that are living in Canada that are...
Yeah, they should be given refugee status. Any Saudi who wants to live here should be given refugee status.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially university students. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
No, Saudi needs to be brought to account. They shouldn't have this power over other countries. Anyways, so that's one issue.
Well, it's still going to continue with a $15 billion deal, though. Weapons deal. Like, I mean...
That should never have happened.
And it's a Brampton... Is it a Brampton...
No,
weapons
London.
company,
It
or-
was a London up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No.
But that's okay. That should never have happened, and I'm sure that those sort of deals won't happen again. But anyways, let's move on. If we're doing a late night from Woody, we're doing it live from Woody's here. Talking about the Trump administration, you know, Trump in his speech at the UN was talking about sovereignty. That was the big thing. Every country should have their sovereignty. And Trump doesn't believe in multilateralism or global institutions or globalization or any of that. But
Which seems multilateral in its own way,
But
right?
he doesn't
Really.
want he basically still that was only rhetoric, because he still believes that the U.S. should rule. So when it comes to Iran, a lot of European powers, Russia and China, want to trade with Iran. India wants to trade with Iran, and Trump is saying, no, if you do that, you're going to deal with American sanctions, and you won't be able to trade with the U.S. It's bizarre. So where's the sovereignty? It's all the U.S. because of it's the weaponization of the American dollar and the power of the American market, and it has such control over the world. And
What's going to power through? The rupee? Like, I mean...
well, there's no currency powerful enough to challenge, not the euro, the power of the U.S. dollar is still paramount. But at some point, things have got to break. How can the United States tell Europe you can't trade with Iran, or you will not have access to the American market? So it's just terrible. So in the new trade agreement, USMCA or USMCA, whatever, the updated NAFTA 2.0, there's a clause in there that says if Canada completes a trade agreement with China, the U.S. has to give its approval. And it's crazy. Like, Canada should be able to trade with any country in the world without U.S. approval. Now, frankly, I don't think we'll ever get a trade agreement with China, but like, if we actually did, the U.S. would have to approve of it? I mean, if that's not extraterritoriality, you know what I'm saying? Where's the sovereignty? Where's the sovereignty that Trump talks about? And the U.S. is definitely lining up. The U.S. has this. Trump has this thing for China, and it's trying to put all the other countries in line that we have to be anti-China and isolate China. It's weird. We'll see where it goes. Trump is playing this strategy with China that's just kind of strange. But he's trying to make sure that all the other countries follow his anti-China strategy, which is, so the he talks about sovereignty at the UN. Every country should have its own sovereignty. Yet he's not allowing other countries.
Yeah, but there's a certain intelligence when it comes to like other countries, especially in Europe, when they talk about protectionism or nationalism, like that derides kind of the ridiculousness of Trump, right? Like, I mean, I don't know if I just made sense there, but I mean, like, you think about countries like Britain, or like you think about countries like Poland or Greece or Italy. Like, I mean, we feel like this Trumpianism is just totally Trumpianism, but maybe a lot of countries are just feeling the pull of globalism. I don't know. Like, I mean, I could be wrong. Like, I mean, I have no idea.
Well, no. China is an isolated example. It's just for some reason, Trump has developed this hate, even though he gets along with President Xi. He has this. He's really targeted China, and he wants other countries to target China. And no question, China has not been a fair player in many ways. But the fact that he can tell Canada, you can't complete a trade agreement with China unless you have our approval, that's really disgusting. And we'll see where this goes. Might not amount to much of anything, because I don't think we'll ever get a trade agreement with China anyways, but talk about extraterritoriality, like the power of the U.S. to dictate terms, how other countries live. Anyways, I'm going to go on. But it is the weaponization of the American dollar, the weaponization of the American economy. They're so powerful, they can dictate what other countries do. And whether it's countries wanting to trade with Iran, whether it's China, it's amazing the power the United States still has over the world economy. Okay.
Well, who do you want to have power over the world economy? China?
No, but maybe it's time to move. I think the euro, maybe it's time to move beyond the American currency. Not going to happen anytime soon. Anyways, let's move on quickly to American domestic politics. Basically on NAFTA 2.0 or YMCA. It wasn't a bad deal. I think Trudeau got the best deal he could. And yeah, we had to open up the dairy market and the poultry market a bit, but we needed that agreement was so important to Canada's economy. And I'm a big fan of supply management. We need to keep our agriculture. Even Trump said Canada needs to protect its farmers and the U.S. has to protect its farmers. Absolutely. Every country should protect its agricultural industries, and I'm a big fan of supply management. So I think NAFTA 2.0 or YMCA or USMCA, whatever, it was the best deal Canada could got. I think the Trudeau government did a good job. But moving on to Trump.
Go Christia.
Trumpism. This Kavanaugh hearings, confirmation, conjunction, what's your function? It is a disgrace that this guy was confirmed.
What are we talking about again?
Judge Kavanaugh.
Okay.
I actually thought, and when these
social issues, we're talking about social issues, right?
But when Kavanaugh, until these allegations, sexual allegations against him came out, I thought, he seems like a reasonable guy. Maybe we should confirm him. But when these allegations came out, I said, well, let's take a second look. And I saw Blase Ford's testimony, Professor Ford's testimony at the Judiciary Committee. And then I watched, and she was very believable. And then I watched Kavanaugh's diatribe about 2 hours later, which everyone's talked about. I thought, he seems way too defensive. He seems way too defensive.
Yes, of course.
And I thought, it's come out since the last couple of weeks that the guy was a real drunk. He was a real frat boy in high school.
Yeah, but who wasn't?
And in the Yale. No, but and in the Yale, and into college years at Yale. And I thought, there's something there. This guy was a real piece of work. Yeah, everyone gets drunk in high school. But this guy seemed to be a real nasty piece of work who got drunk all the time and hung out with a lot of lowlifes, and then it's carried into his years at Yale. So I thought there's something there. Where there's smoke, there's fire, you know, like. And I think the fact that they rushed to judgment and confirmed him is wrong. And there's something.
Andrew,
really,
there's a lot of people that did a lot of weird shit.
don't get me
at
wrong. I
school.
don't think anyone is accused of sexual assault or anything. I do believe in a presumption of innocence, but there seems to be something about
No,
this.
presumption of innocence is nice.
Yeah, I thought
But I'm
Susan
saying, like,
Collins.
who is. Yeah.
Susan Collins, the senator
I did some
from
weird
Maine.
things in high school. Like, I mean.
Susan Collins, the senator of Maine, I think really her speech to Congress was, or to the Senate was a good one. She laid out all the reasons why she was supporting him. But I still think there was enough doubt there not to put him on the Supreme Court. I think there was enough doubt raised. Should have been further investigated. Anyway, saying that, when Trump spoke in Mississippi a little less than a week ago, and he went after Professor Ford, and that, basically questioning her credibility, she didn't remember how she got home, she didn't remember how she got there, she had one beer. It was really nasty and whatever. It's the people, I remember the people behind him were cheering and laughing, and I thought, this says it all about the United States. A woman has a credible argument that she was sexually assaulted by a potential nominee to the Supreme Court. And Trump, the President of the United States, makes fun of her at one of these nutty rallies. And the people are laughing and
God,
cheering.
They all laugh, I tell you.
So it brings me back to what Hillary Clinton said in 2016. There is a basket of deplorables out there. These are lowlifes. These are a real basket of people who support Trump. A lot of the people who support Trump are deplorable. They're nasty and they're vicious and they're ignorant. And Hillary's right. They are a basket of deplorables. And
who's more ignorant, right? That's the way you win these days, right? Who can say stuff, right?
It is incredible. And I'm going to end this video live here from Woody's by saying, Amy Chozick wrote a great book, Chasing Hillary, about being on the Hillary Clinton campaign. She's a New York Times reporter. She said she did a really interesting piece in the New York Times on Sunday. She said, or last Sunday, I guess. It was last Sunday, 10 days ago. She said,
that's the way life works.
She said, look, you gotta look at Trump's presidency as a reality show. As a lot of people have commented, right? But he's only in the second season of his presidency. The Apprentice lasted 6 seasons. A lot of these reality shows last 5-6 seasons.
There's a new
The
reality
Apprentice
show.
lasted 6 seasons, then petered out. Trump is only into his second season of his reality show, The American Presidency. And I can see the ratings are huge. CNN, MSNBC, Fox. The ratings are huge. They make all these networks are making a lot of money on Trump because he's so entertaining. Every day, CNN is the Trump News Network.
That's mortifying, basically.
And I can see Trump. I don't know what's going to happen in the midterms, but I could see Trump winning I could see Trump winning in 2020, as she pointed out in her article. I could just see it.
Who's going to win in 2020?
And we don't know.
Who's going to win in 2020?
I could see Trump winning again.
Trump. Oh, well, Bush was the...
He'll only be in the 5th season of his presidency.
Yeah, Bush was the dumbest...
His reality show, his presidency. So in when you talk about network ratings, he'll be in the 5th season. So I could see him winning again. We'll see what happens. We don't know what's going to happen in the midterm. But populism's still out there, man. It's in Europe. Look at what's happening in Brazil. They're electing this whack job, guy who hates gay people. Populism is interesting. It doesn't come out of nowhere.
And there's an isolationist bent to it, too, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean...
It comes out of people feeling deprived. Brazil is one of the corrupt countries in the world.
Islam has something to
But
play about.
populism doesn't come out of nowhere, but boy, it generally doesn't lead to good things. Look at Venezuela. And look what's happening in Poland and Hungary. Look at what's happening in parts of Europe. Look at the United States. The only country that's, despite some nuttiness in Canada, Canada seems to be populism hasn't taken a hold in Canada. Thank God. Yeah, Doug Ford. Yeah, and
he's
J.C.
Canadian
Penney
populist,
and all
right?
that. But it's a different reality here, and thank God for that. But yeah, Brazil. What's happening in Brazil is horrible. What's the guy's name again? Bolsonaro or
Bolsonaro.
yeah. Hates
Bolsonaro.
Bolsonaro hates gays.
Bolsonaro is so
It's a real whack job.
Yeah,
but he
it's
comes
a
out
Portuguese.
because Brazil has become such a corrupt, disgusting place. He's come to the fore. So you think of I think of Silva, who was the president of Brazil. He was a leftist dream, and everybody thought that Silva was. But then he got caught up in himself. Anyways.
But he lifted a lot of people out of poverty, right?
He did help.
He did.
Yeah,
He did.
yeah.
He was a socialist, but yeah.
And Chavez did that originally in Venezuela. But
Right.
now Venezuela is a basket case. It's an absolute basket case where people are living, where everyone's fleeing, and the inflation rate's like 1,000,000%. Oh, I don't even want to talk about it. It's so horrible. Populism generally doesn't end well. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. Populism does not end well.
It ended well for Hitler.
Yeah, exactly.
It ended well for Hitler. I mean, it did, right?
Well,
the only reason Hitler failed was because of the Eastern Front, right?
Well, no, you just said it. Populism ends in guys like Hitler. Oh wait, on that note.
But it didn't actually end well.
It did not end well.
It ended kind of perfectly
for Hitler. We had a Second World War that cost the lives of like 20, 30 million
Yeah, that's
people.
what I'm saying. Yeah, you got me right.
Kind of didn't end well. Populism didn't end well. It cost 20 or 30 million lives.
Right. Including gay people, right?
Yeah. So there you go. All right. On that note, you got my point. Populism doesn't end well.
It never does, even on an individualistic basis.
The world's a very complex place.
Yeah.
It does come from real concerns about people being alienated and their wages not going up and all that. But populism doesn't end well generally, and it won't end well in the U.S. and it won't end well in Brazil, and it won't end well in Europe, and hopefully Canada can avoid what's going on in the rest of the world. On that note, this is a long video, but
23 minutes.
23 minutes. No one will watch.
They never do.
They never do.
Yeah.
All right. On that
Judy
note,
watches
live
them.
from Woody's and late night from Willowdale, and goodbye.